today you guys were remote viewing the Amber Room. I had never heard of this before. So the location is unknown because it was constructed of amber from the Baltic Sea, estimated to be 30 million years old, and gold. And it was constructed back in 1709 in Germany in a Masonic castle. And so it was put up for royalty and used potentially with we'll say occult purposes. They did like meditation and rituals or something like that in these rooms. Don't have a lot of information with that, but some of your viewing seemed to coincide with that. So there was some pretty strange energetic things going on, which came up in your guys' data. Not only is it a lost treasure, but there's also some strange esoteric properties alongside it. And I'm really looking forward to getting into your guys' data to show our viewers what you guys found. Here were your sub cues. The remote viewer was to observe the amber room and describe it in its current state. And you were also to observe the location of the amber room in its current time and location and document it. And I want to have Derek start today.
So my S3 goes kind of around here. So it was like a tunnel corridor underground, reinforced with lumber to prevent a cave-in, which leads to the discovery. And all these people are wearing the same kind of headgear. The guy removes a lid, and this thing has like a really ancient feel to it. And then I get this visual of these two people, and they feel like they're ancient, and they might be responsible for whatever is in here, whatever that esoteric element is, male and female with like a glowing aura. And it feels like they left it on purpose, like they could perceive its future discovery and were content and happy. And then I wanted to focus in on what this was. So it felt like it had like this oracle feel, or like the ancient seer stone. But it can't be used without the know-how. Like you can't like touch it and get imbued with powers. You have to know something about it. The originators didn't need it anymore, and I'm wondering like, why did they discover something better? And they hoped it would be discovered in the future and used, learned to be used in the journey to evolve as they did. No guarantee, but hoped it would be found, learned from, and used, replicated, reverse engineering, unlock universal truths, geometry, sound, vibration, light energy fields, and impacts on brain waves and intelligence. So brilliantly bright object contained within. Looking down from above, I see geometry and light emulating, and it glows, and like a mythological feel to it, like something that was from legendary times, comprised of a crystalline like structure. So who are these people? It feels like it's organized by a company or a group with no name, an organization with nearly no budget constraints or concerns, like a privatized black ops team. They can pose as US, NATO, or UN troops to accomplish their goals without fear or concern for laws or rules, like they're protected. Like they could start a war as a diversion to get in and out, to get what they want.
Yeah, thank you, Derek. And that's a really great session. A couple notable things from your session. There is lore surrounding that, the treasures of this amber room may have contained artifacts from previous civilizations, and it may have been a part of these occult practices. So your data seems to tie into that nicely. So it's kind of interesting. Makes you wonder, okay, what is that, right?
Yeah,
So
I have heard of the Amber Room, and I thought its last known whereabouts was in like a castle in St. Petersburg, Russia, if I remember correctly. Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
The Nazis stole it.
yeah.
The, the,
Or they think they may have stolen it, but they're not sure,
yeah.
and they're not sure if it was buried. Maybe there was also speculation it was lost in a ship sinking, during the war. So there's all these questions circulating. Where is it? So it sounds like it was recovered from your data. Naim, you want to go ahead and go through your session next?
And I saw what looks like ruins. It feels abandoned or evacuated, like the remains of a structure, stone masonry, kind of like a lost and found historical flavor to it. Stonework, carvings, chiselings. Feels like it's in a remote place or a strange place. Maybe the whole castle kind of theme there. Again, land, what looks like the remains of a structure that's been deserted. Um, Maybe some gravestones or some kind of markers there. And I also got the sense of like an Egyptian or Greco-Roman feel to it. Stonework, blocks, pillars, things are buried beneath here. They could do an excavation and research and study on this and find something.
Thank you, Naim. Yeah, I think you're really picking up on the excavation to find the artifacts, and then the migration and the boxing up of the room. So, thank you. And Daz, let's go over yours next. You seem to cue in a lot more on the energetic aspects, which I
Yeah,
thought was really interesting.
I didn't seem to get much on a physical location stuff, although there are hints of it there. Yeah, a lot of mine felt very esoteric. Interesting. The first word that I had here, which is I think is quite important. Now that we know what the target is the word dynasty that just popped out of nowhere. But yeah, I was getting lots of energetic stuff here, and it felt like there was energy, but the energy was it was in a void. It was in this really dark space that just kept coming up over and over. This dark code location. And here's me trying to draw here this energy, and the energy felt very kind of like small and sparkly. So yeah, there was an energy there, and it was chaotic, small particles, which expanded in all directions. But this was in a very dark space, a void, which was code in dark. And here's me trying to describe kind of the esoteric, kind of weird feelings I was getting off this, and it was almost like positive and negative ions that I was trying to describe here. But again, I don't know what that has to do with it. As I said, everything felt very weirdly esoteric, and I don't use the word esoteric very often in RV sessions because esoteric for me is very kind of like dark, kind of magic in a way. There was also science and mathematicians involved as well, and they had instruments. They were measuring something, and there was communication over time with this as well. Yeah, but I do know a lot about this target. I have studied it
Interesting.
massively in the past, and then one of they either think it's in a lake underneath the ruin of the castle or in a mine in Poland somewhere, but no one really knows at this stage.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Edward, you also had some energetic stuff in your session that kind of coincides with some of the things Daz had. You want to go through your session next?
Okay. Well, my session and Daz's sessions were pretty darn similar. I'm not familiar with this amber room, but from what you guys are saying, I was picking up on a lot of this kind of esoteric stuff too. And so that was kind of curious. So I was wondering if I would, what if you touched this stuff or what was going on here? And that was the notion, was like this stuff is really charged up, and there could be like an arcing sensation or some kind of energy transfer that could zap you if you got too close to this stuff, whatever it was. So then I had to wonder, is this power source out of control? And it seemed to be an electromagnetic system that was seeking some kind of oscillation connections, like it was reaching out and trying to expand even a little bit. So, but then I had to wonder, how does this relate to the target? What's going on with this stuff? Something is, or someone is close to this material and possibly even being affected by it. And I wondered how. And it seems experimental, like putting someone near this energy source just to see how it will affect them. And they could be blindfolded during the process, like someone getting zapped, and it changed their life and life direction if they came in contact with this stuff. But how, I wonder? They'd be getting zapped or electrocuted and having a near-death experience. Life has now changed and a new pursuit takes over after they touch this stuff. Or maybe they're even poisoned. I can see a person dead here and coming back to life. Are they still the same person, though? I wondered, or did someone else step in? I contemplated. In many ways, not the same person. A much wider perspective is what they would have, a new understanding and purpose, and a new drive. This person seemed very different. So the notion here again was something in this environment, they touch it, that could even kill them, and then they're brought back to life and kind of changed.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And again, this seems to support that there was artifacts in this room that had these, otherworldly properties. And Dick, you did sort of like ERV for this one. I think the whole session. You got some really cool stuff here.
First thing I see is this is a time of chaos when brutal men fight one another, cruel, ruthless physical attacks, and combat. The plans were on scrolls accessed by only a few. Derek, I got Masonic information. And this was told to laborers, and I saw people like assembling this block by block. I just saw it for an instant. I thought it was a crypt. So I said crypt. But big place, like 40-foot tall ceiling, intense colors, reddish and golden. And now I see something being encased, entombed, like they're papering it over. And then at one point they're boxing it up, they're papering it over, and then they're disassembling it, putting it in crates, lifting it up with like a crane, it felt like, and they're going to hide from view. It's sealed off and covered over and hidden. And it turns out the Amber Room was looted during World War II by the German group north of Germany. It was taken to Königsberg for reconstruction and display, and then it disappeared from there. That's my session. So that was pretty fun. I don't know if I can. So I don't know where it is right now, but I guess the castle was destroyed, maybe not the room itself.
Some folks think that some of the artifacts were split up. So some of the furnishings may be in a shipwreck they found, but they can't search the crates because it's considered a tomb or a grave site. But they have found the crates from the ship that they think contain some of the furnishings.
And it seems reasonable that if there were artifacts with some potential power to it, or perceived power, that they would try to contain that, to amplify it within a room lined with gold.
Mm-hmm.
And things like amber.
I wonder if amber is what's the word would an amber room be a Faraday cage, or would it be an amplifier?